welcome. It's January 10th, and I took a break for a few weeks, and I said I'll be back January 10th, and here I am. It's freezing cold right now, and I just want to know, did I miss anything this week? Anything happen that I should know about? Okay. Figured it was a good time to have a drink. Hi Maggie Beltrami. I figured it was a good time to have a drink, and I kind of felt like I needed one, and I'm sure many of you out there, actually probably all of you out there need one. So even if you don't drink, welcome to, I guess this is Apéro hour still, even though it's, I don't know. Anyway, it's cold. It's very cold here. I was freezing cold. I'll take this off now that you're here. But I finally convinced Romain to let me put the winter comforter on the bed. I'm one of those people that could sleep with like 12 comforters. I'm part Scandinavian, so I don't mind being cold at night, but I need a lot of comforters. And I should probably not say I'm part Scandinavian, because after the Hilaria Gate problem, people are now looking into people's DNAs. So as far as I know, hi Woody, in Sonoma, I believe. As far as I know, from what my aunt told me, Scandinavian, Syrian, and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, welcome to Happy Hour. It's Sunday night, and a lot of stuff happened. I think one of the most, the thing that affected me the most was Tanya Roberts passing. As many of you know, she was my favorite of Charlie's Angels. And we had a little scare there. We didn't know if she had left us or not, and she did leave. So in memory of Tanya Roberts, let's dedicate this episode to her. She was on the last season of Charlie's Angels, and her previous, they gave all the other angels, they all had other careers. Some of them were like judo instructors, some of them were police officers, and with her they just kind of gave up and said she was a model. So she kind of got the short end of the stick. Anyway, it's been a very strange week, of course, as everybody knows. I usually go to bed and I sort of limit myself to watching the news for an hour a day, because Romain said I was getting crazy, so, or crazier. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on. I thought we could use a drink, and I was looking at a lot of best of the year lists coming out, or came out. By the way, before I forget, thank you all for buying Drinking French in 2020. It's still available in 2021. One of my favorite bookstores, Book Larder in Seattle. I don't know if Laura is watching, but it was their #2 best-selling book of the year. So thank you all for shopping there. It's a great store, and for buying the book. And if you do want to get a signed copy, she has signed book-plated copies there. That's at Book Larder. Your uneven cupboards. I don't know what that. I just saw my uneven cupboards. Maybe I should turn the camera. Okay. Now is it even? I don't know. It's hard to figure out this stuff. Is that even? Okay. Everything's okay. Anyway, Book Larder in Seattle. It's a great independent bookstore. I love the store, and thank you so much for buying it. They still have signed copies, and that's me on the back. I'm trying to still get, it's my 9th book. They still won't put me on the cover, but hope springs eternal. Just kidding. I think they only put women on the covers, or really hot men with beards or tattoos. So I don't have a beard. I tried to grow one last week, and Romain made me shave it, and I don't have any tattoos. So there you go. Oh. There's a blinking light outside. Anyway, I was looking at Punch, which is punchdrink.com, I think, or it's Punch. It's an online cocktail website, and it's very good. It's a great resource, a lot of great cocktails on there. And they listed their 10 cocktails of 2020. And one of them was one called the Clover Club. And I was looking at it, and there's a wonderful cocktail bar in Brooklyn called the Clover Club. It's a little bit of a tongue twister if you say it too much. Am I going to get the vaccine? Are you going to get the vaccine soon? I don't know. It's been a tough rollout in France. The first week, 516 people got it, were able to get it, which was very low, and there was a lot of discussion on the news why it wasn't being speeded along, especially because there's a lot of pharmacists that could give vaccines and so forth. So it hasn't, the rollout hasn't been as rapid as many of us had hoped for, let's just say that. But I am very anxious to get the vaccine. So I want it. I want to travel. I want everyone to be healthy and good again. So this drink was the number 7th most popular drink on their website. I believe it was 7. It's named after, it's an old drink. However, there's a bar in Brooklyn called Clover Club. And those of you that have been watching my Instagram lives for a little while, I had Ivy Mix on, and she's one of the business partners of that place. And that's why the drinks are so amazing. But the owner and head bartender of Clover Club is Julie Reiner. And my camera's a little tilted. That's probably why everything looks screwy. There's so many things that could possibly go wrong. Hello in Alaska. So a good friend of mine's family was from Florida, and he moved to Alaska. And I said, why'd you move to Alaska? And he goes, because it was as far away from my family as I could get and stay in the U.S. So anyway, the Clover Club, it's a great bar. Julie Reiner's the bartender, and she sort of retooled this bar classic to make it a little more, bartenders are always adding their own little tricks and tips and so forth. So this is actually a raspberry-based cocktail. I don't do a lot of sweet cocktails. Some people like sweet cocktails a lot, some people don't. Some people get freaked out when they see things like syrup in a cocktail. But you have to realize, a lot of people don't realize this, but I'm not a big sweet cocktail person, but cocktails, like any other food, are layers of flavor. When you make brownies, you've got bitter chocolate, you've got eggs, you've got sugar, flour, and so forth. And so you're layering. You add a little bit of vanilla, even though you don't necessarily taste it. It adds to that flavor, those flavors. Same with vinaigrette. Same with anything actually that you cook. So a cocktail often has something sour in it. A lot of contrast is really good in food. R. Diaz photo. Thank you for ordering the book. Well, good, another book. Sugar is sometimes added to cocktails, as well as lemon juice. And it's a lot of contrast, different dry vermouth, sweet vermouth, gin, and so forth. So this recipe, I'll put the exact, should I type it into the thing or read it? I'll tell you what it is right now, and then I'll say it later at the end. It's 1.5 ounces of gin, 1/2 ounce of dry vermouth, 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of raspberry syrup, and about 1/4 ounce of egg white. And to make the raspberry syrup, I took about 1/4 cup of raspberries and macerated them with 1/2 cup of sugar and added 1/4 cup of warm water. And then I let that sit for a while, and then I strained it. Let that sit for about 30 minutes, and I add a little bit of vodka. And that's Julie Reiner's recipe, I believe, as well, or her proportions. Clover Club, yes. I should probably say hello. In Canada, hello. In Boston. I can't see anything. Where are my glasses? I'm sorry. Those of you that follow my Instagram stories, yesterday I was trying to do a 30-second video where I just had to, I'm doing a demonstration for a website called Talk Shop Live at the end of the month, which is sort of a tongue twister. It's kind of like Clover Club. You say it really fast, Talk Shop Live. It's a tongue twister. So I had to keep recording it over and over again, and for other reasons. So, and somebody likes Clover Club a lot. Oh, Sabine XX212. Yes, Clover Club is a great cocktail bar in New York. If you go there, it's in Brooklyn. It's terrific. So the drink has raspberries in it. And it's funny because I don't usually buy out of season fruit. It's funny, when I used to live in the States, it was, if you wanted raspberries, you had to kind of wait till the summer. And now when I go back, there's like raspberries in the stores, like all the supermarkets, even like Whole Foods and so forth. So I bought some raspberries. They're from Morocco, where presumably it's nice and warm. And I tasted one and they were delicious. I bought it at the supermarket. So I made the raspberry syrup with the fresh raspberries. You could use whole frozen raspberries. Those are quite good as well. So This is a shaken cocktail. Cocktails get shaken that have fruit in them because they helps emulsify the cocktail. So things like lemon juice, it's fruit. So it gets shaken. Raspberries, interesting tidbit. Raspberries are called multifruits in the botanical world because each of those little sacs is a fruit, individual fruit. So a raspberry is actually a multifruit. And strawberries, our friends strawberries, are one of the few fruits, probably the only fruit that has seeds on the outside. A lot of people don't realize things like squashes, is that plural? Are fruit because they have seeds inside. Eggplant, zucchini, and tomatoes are fruits. But because they're used like vegetables, they can be referred to vegetables. People like to point out to me if I make that mistake, but it's like rhubarb. People say it's fruit because it's usually used as a fruit in fruit applications. Anyway, I've got my handy mixing glass here, or shaker. See, I forgot all my nomenclature. I've stayed away too long. So I'm going to add 1.5 ounces of gin. So the greatest thing was going to sleep last night with my winter comforter cover because it's about that thick. But I didn't sleep very well. There's a lot of stuff to think about. So tonight I'm going to have one of these drinks and sleep well. So 1/2 ounce of dry vermouth. And 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. And I sent my newsletter out to subscribers today, by the way. If you're a subscriber, you got a recipe, gingerbread cupcakes. And if you're not a subscriber, you can go to my blog and enter your name in the little field on the side where it says subscribe to my newsletter. And it's funny because I haven't made cupcakes in years, and people used to hate cupcakes. They used to make jokes about them. Like, well, what's wrong with cupcakes? They're little cakes and you don't have to share. So, and then I'm going to add 1/2 ounce of this raspberry syrup that I made a little earlier. Oh. And then this drink has egg whites in it. So if you don't want to use raw egg whites, either make a different drink or try to find pasteurized egg whites. But pasteurized egg whites sometimes don't whip. I was doing a cooking demo once years ago in the US, and I was whipping these egg whites, and they didn't whip for like 20 minutes. And I kept staring at the machine while everybody was staring at me, wondering what was going on. And then I realized someone said, well, check the package. It says that they're not suitable for whipping. So check the package. That smells good. And then it's about 1/4 ounce of egg white in here. Now, if you have my book, there's a recipe called the Ginny Germain in there. So it's 1/4 ounce of egg white. And that's from a friend of mine, Antoine, here in Paris. And I'm just going to add a little bit more because I didn't get the measure right. Whoops, here we go. And he just shakes everything in the shaker and pours it into a glass. And it comes out frothy and wonderful. I was like, well, don't you do what's called a dry shake, which is shaking the mixture up first without ice. It has egg whites in it. Any cocktail with egg white, well, a cocktail with egg whites, you can do what's called a dry shake. You shake it without ice first to build a structure, then you add the ice to get it cold and dilute it. It comes out fine without doing that. So in the book I said, okay, great. And it works great. You don't have to do any sort of double shake or dry shake. For this cocktail, I was noticing that Julie Reiner does what's called a reverse dry shake, which means you shake the cocktail with ice, then you strain it, then you shake it without ice, and apparently it makes a better egg white layer. So I actually have never done that before, so I thought since this was live, what better time to try something totally that you've never tried before. So we'll see how this goes. So I've got ice here. I love when people ask questions in the question box. until it starts growing mold. Probably a couple days, 3 or 4 days. The sugar is a preservative. All right, so I think I got everything in there. I forgot how to shake. Just kidding. It sounds nice and frothy. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, so I want to pour half of this out, then get rid of the ice, and then give it another shake. You can see it's very pretty. Okay, that's kind of a mind F, shaking a drink that has no ice in it. Okay. It's like noise canceling shaker. All right, let's see. We'll see how this works. So I have a chilled glass. And in my newsletter, I linked to a pretty funny article that was on Slate, and it was about stupid things that people bought during the lockdowns that they regretted. One of them was a jump rope with memory foam handles, but I stocked up on cocktail glasses, and it was nice because it's nice to have a drink in a nice glass. And I'm going to move this so you can see it. Or maybe not. Okay. Nice shake, Margot would be proud. M-A-E-N-G-E-L-S-O-N. Yes, my dream is to make Margot proud because she's one of my bar heroes. So, I'll hold it up instead. It's a nice frothy drink. It's beautiful. Whoa. It's like a super groovy cosmopolitan. And then I'm gonna take some of these raspberries and do a little skewer action. I know I learned so much last year from a lot of the bartenders that came on the show. So this is a Clover Club. And I'm going to repeat the ingredients once again in case you missed it. It's 1.5 ounces of gin, 1/2 ounce of dry vermouth, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of raspberry syrup, about 1/4 ounce of egg white. It's funny, I haven't had a raspberry cocktail ever. It's delicious. The only problem with this cocktail is I think I could drink the whole thing in one gulp. It's very cold and refreshing. It's fruity, it's not sweet, don't worry. It's got lemon juice in it, it's got dry vermouth and gin. So none of the raspberry syrup is definitely not sweet at all. Okay, I love this drink. So this is the Clover Club. I'm having another sip. So let's see, I think there's some other questions. What kind of gin would you recommend? I noticed in Julie's recipe, she recommended Plymouth gin. I'm using Citadel, which is the first gin made in France. Basically gin, use whatever you like. Certain gins, like Tanqueray, are really botanically heavy. Beefeater is a dry gin. It's very good. It's very inexpensive. It's a good bar staple. You don't have to spend a lot of money on gin. Citadel gin is very good as well. I have other gins from France. Sob's gin, I like. This is Scottish gin I like, but the botanist is quite good. But use what you like. But a good all-purpose gin is Citadel or Beefeater. I was not a bartender. I wanted to be, and then I realized it was very difficult. So I decided to become a cookbook author. I was a pastry chef before, and it's kind of the same thing being a bartender is, but bartenders have to be psychiatrists and bouncers and police officers and best friends and so forth. The raspberry syrup again. All right. A couple people asked me if I would talk about it. So I did half the recipe that is usually advised. I'll give you the full recipe and you can make half of it if you want. I did half the recipe and I got this amount, which is quite a bit. So the full recipe is a half a cup of raspberries, 1 cup of water. Start again. I'm terrible at reading. It's half a cup of raspberries, 1 cup of sugar, a half cup of water, and then you just marinate the raspberries with the sugar and warm water. Macerate it, not boiling water, but just enough to melt the sugar. Let that sit for like 30 minutes, then press the whole thing through a strainer and add about, ½ ounce of vodka. So, and you can find the recipe online. You can go to Punch Drink, their website, and type Clover Club. Somebody mentioned they freeze their syrups. That's a good Sarah Jeanette. Yes, I've done that too. You can freeze cocktail syrups as well. Some of them have a lot of sugar, and they don't freeze that hard, which is nice because you can actually scrape off what you need. So I do that too. The rosemary gimlet. You had 5 this week. That is the favorite cocktail. So it's my partner's favorite cocktail as well. So there's a ½ ounce of syrup in the cocktail. Someone else is asking. I have not. I know that people use them to make meringues and so forth, but it's kind of not my thing. So I don't use powdered egg whites. I don't even know where to get them in Paris, but if you have experience using them, they would probably work in this. I didn't even know Costco had gin. I haven't been to a Costco in 25 years, so I can't say. There is a Costco outside of Paris, but I'm not a member, so I don't know. It's kind of nice to go into a liquor store and buy liquor. I don't know. It's like buying bread. I kind of like buying my bread at the bakery. So for me, I sort of like going into the liquor store, supporting the little stores in my neighborhood that sell liquor if I can. But if you have Costco, I'm sure I know they have really good stuff. Hello in Ohio, Jules. Somebody chimed in and said it's very good. Favorite cocktail bars in Paris. Very difficult to say favorites because they're all different. I like Combat quite a bit because Margot's there. Where else do I like? Le Syndicat is very interesting on the Rue Faubourg Saint-Denis. Jeffrey's is very creative. That is, it's a little different kind of situation there. It's very edited. It's not rowdy. I love Cravon. Cravon is a great cocktail bar in the 16th. Of course, all these cocktail bars are closed. But Frank, who's the bartender and owner of Cravon, came over yesterday and brought me this little Christmas cocktail, which was very sweet of him. He wanted to say Merry Christmas, and he came over and brought me this, which was excellent. And he brought me, I'm going off script here, but he brought me this beautiful lemon brioche, and it's really good. I ate like half of it before the Roman even got to see it. But it's so pretty, isn't it? It swirls. And that's the inside. And one thing I learned the hard way is that brioche, if you put it in the toaster, it burns almost immediately. So you have to stand there and watch it, but this is really good. Am I going to do a TV or documentary series? That would be fun. My two memoirs have been they're in development for a TV series, but who knows? Right now, anything's possible, as we've seen this week. What's my opinion of L'Ami Louis? Is that super expensive place in the Marais? If it is, I haven't eaten there. There was an interesting review of it in Esquire several years ago, but I have not been. It's extremely expensive. Hello in Rockaway Beach in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia proud. Yes, it is a good time to support local businesses if you can. Everyone's got different budgets and so forth. But I know that Costco, people say Costco is actually a really good business. They pay their employees well. They treat people well, and they do carry things that you can't get normally, things like Comté cheese, and so forth. So it's always a dilemma what you should do and what you should shop. So I like shopping local, but I know that sometimes I buy things in bulk. A friend of mine went to Costco here, and she brought me 2 bags of. They have the American pecans. Hi in San Francisco. Oh, in Ireland, and to make this a ladylike change from whiskey, Calais Lager 70. Terrible pronunciation. Yes, you could probably make it with Irish whiskey. It'd be very interesting. And Ireland's one of my all-time favorite places. The people are great, and the food is great too. I went to the butter museum, and they had the world's oldest butter. It was like 1,000 years old in this little tub. Okay, it was in Cork. All right, I think I answered everybody's questions. Huckleberries, yum, Sylvia. I love huckleberries. Oh, Tento, TENTOPSF. You love the book. Thank you so much. That's really nice to hear. Hello in Portland, Oregon. You can visit one of my favorite bartenders, Jeffrey Morgenthaler of Clyde Tavern, was on the show. Portland's a wonderful city as well. Anyway, where is everything? Where am I? This drink is powerful. No, it's not. It's quite delicious. The Clover Club. So cheers to everybody. It was nice connecting with all of you in 2020, and especially those of you that have been longtime followers of the Instagram lives I've been doing, because I started doing them in March when we had our first lockdown, and I've done over 150. No, probably over 120. Let me revive, because someone will go and count them. So it might be between 120 and 150. Let's be safe. Thank you all for joining in, and it was great to see you. I hope you all had a good 2020, good end of year, peaceful end of the year. It was a tough year for everybody, for the world. I think, we're facing something we've never faced before, and I wrote in my year-end newsletter, if someone had told me last year at this time, or in January, that we'd all be wearing masks and we'd all be indoors and so forth, it would have seemed like completely crazy. And here we are. But we can do this. It's a miracle. There's vaccine options out there, so it's incredible, to be honest. So hopefully that's going to bring us out of this. But we still need to all work together. So hoping that 2021 is more peaceful. Hasn't started out that way. But like I was telling a lot of people about my feelings about the vaccine and everything, and about the end of the virus, I'm very optimistic about things. I'm trying to be optimistic. There's no reason to be pessimistic unless you want to stay home and be stuck in the corner of your apartment under a blanket ordering weird stuff that you're like jump ropes with memory foam handles. All right, well, it's great to see you. Hope you enjoyed the drink. Thank you, Julie Reiner, for your version of the Clover Club classic cocktail. Julie has a bar in Brooklyn called Clover Club. If you do go to New York in the future, travel might be back on deck pretty soon. Definitely go there. It's a great bar. I love Okay, pro tip, the happy hour is amazing. The drinks are, they have like 3 special price drinks and the food is great. So I'm looking forward to going back. I will stop drinking and say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in, and see you soon, and take care of yourself, and also please take care of others. All right, bye-bye.